Winter Elias left. The city turned harsh and grey. Snow piled on sidewalks, and wind howled through the thin cracks of Maria's attic window. Yet inside her, a flicker of warmth remained, a promise whispered in the soft light of the bakery. She threw herself into work. Each morning, before the sun rose, she'd light the ovens, tie her apron, and knead the dough as if shaping her own destiny. Every loaf she baked carried his memory. Every scent reminded her of the day they met. Sometimes she'd glance at the door just before dawn, half expecting to see Elias standing there with his crooked smile and his delivery truck. But it never happened. Days became weeks, and weeks turned into months. Then one morning, Mrs. Dawson, the kind landlady, handed her a letter. The envelope was creased and marked with foreign stamps. Maria's hands trembled as she opened it. "My dearest Maria, I think of you with every sunrise. The sea feels smaller than the distance between us. I'm working hard with my brothers in Naples. We have plans, dreams really. I promised I would come back to you, and I will. Keep your hope alive, my Maria. You are my reason to return. Yours, always, Elias." Tears welled in her eyes as she pressed the paper to her heart. For days, she read that letter again and again, until the ink nearly faded from touch. From then on, the letters became her lifeline. Once a month, a new envelope arrived, from Italy, sometimes from France, when Elias was making deliveries abroad. He told her about his struggles, his progress, his longing. She replied with tales of the bakery, her small joys, and her graying strength. Their words built a bridge across oceans. Yet life in New York was far from easy. Rent rose, work slowed. One evening, Mr. Harper fell ill, and the bakery nearly closed. Maria stepped up, managing the ovens, the customers, even the finances. She slept only 4 hours a night, but she refused to let it die. "This bakery fed me when I had nothing," she told Mrs. Dawson. "Now it's my turn to keep it alive." In her darkest moments, she'd light a candle by the window and whisper Elias's name into the night wind. "Don't forget me," she'd say softly. "Don't let the world change you before you come home." 3 years passed like this. 3 long years of work, waiting, and quiet faith. Then one summer, the letters stopped. The first week, she told herself it was just a delay. The second week, maybe the mail had been lost. But when months passed with no word, the silence began to crush her. She'd rush to the post office every Friday, her heart fluttering with desperate hope, only to walk back empty-handed through streets that felt lonelier than ever. "Maybe he's found someone else," whispered a cruel voice in her mind. "No," she told herself. "Not Elias. He keeps his word." Still, the doubt grew heavier each day. One night, unable to bear the uncertainty, she went to the Brooklyn Bridge, her favorite spot to think. The wind was cold, the city lights reflecting in the water below. She clutched his last letter in her hands. "I came here to find a life," she murmured, "but all I found was a heart that keeps waiting." She thought of giving up, of closing her heart for good. But then, as if the universe refused to let her lose faith, something small and magical happened. An old man selling newspapers noticed her tears and said kindly, "Miss, the ones worth waiting for always find their way back. Don't let the city teach you to stop believing." She smiled weakly. "Do you really think so?" "I know so," he said, "because I waited 50 years for my love, and she's still with me." That night, Maria went home and wrote one last letter, even though she didn't know if it would ever reach him. "My beloved Elias, I don't know if you'll ever read this, but I still believe in you. The world has changed, and so have I. I am stronger now, not because life was kind, but because love taught me to endure. Wherever you are, know that I will always be grateful for what we had, for the hope you gave me when I needed it most. Always yours, Maria." She mailed it the next morning, and didn't expect a reply. Years rolled by. Maria grew into her role at the bakery, eventually becoming co-owner after Mr. Harper passed away. Her hands, once soft, were now marked by years of hard work. But her eyes still carried the same light. Every so often, she'd catch herself glancing at the door, her heart skipping, but no one came. She learned to smile again, to dance with her friends, to live, and though time dulled the ache, a quiet corner of her heart still belonged to Elias, to that promise made in the glow of the ovens. What she didn't know was that across the ocean, Elias was trying just as hard to return to her.